welcome back to the Slight Sarcasm Podcast. I'm Celeste.
I'm Amber.
And we're back with another episode, a brand new, fresh one.
Yes, finally. We're sorry. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Celeste is not sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, I think it's fine. It's been like 2 months.
Yeah, it's been a little while. So, do you want to catch them up on some of your stuff that's caused you to not record for a couple months?
Honestly, it's nothing I can say, like,
that's fair,
in public, to be totally honest. But it's a lot of personal shit. Honestly, I genuinely hope one day I'd be able to talk about a lot of the stuff that I'm going through right now, because I feel like a lot of the stuff that I've been going through the past 12 months is like stuff worth talking about as like a community.
Definitely.
But yeah, I'm just not ready to talk about it right now. Yeah.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
A
lot has been going on.
Yeah. I guess I was kind of thinking like, apart from like the holidays and things like that, I did get COVID. I got COVID like a week before Christmas, which was a huge bummer because we were definitely looking forward to celebrating with my partner's family. And, we both ended up getting sick. We lived together. It was pretty much inevitable. I feel like most people who share like an apartment or a small space they're just going to get each other sick. There's really, we tried our best to isolate, and that went for like 3 days or so. We were fine. And then like the 4th day or so, my partner got sick, and yeah, so that was a bummer. Luckily, we're happy and grateful to be vaccinated because it really just did feel like a bad flu. But I will say, I'm not going to discredit the illness, because I will say it's like top 3 worst times I've ever been sick, for sure. And you might hear it in my voice. I still have some, like, I think, a little bit of like long-term stuff that I'm still dealing with. I still have like some congestion, and I lost my taste and smell for a while. It took like 2 weeks before it felt like normal again. So, yeah, but other than that, same deal, just some personal things going on. And yeah, I think we both just needed a mental break to try to like unplug from certain things for a little while. And I think that's it for the most part. But I'm definitely happy to be back. I feel like it's always been therapeutic for me to like record with you, because I feel like we talk about a lot of stuff that we both have been thinking heavily about. And so to share some of those things, at least, maybe not personal life stuff, but to share some of our views and opinions on things to me, it's really like cathartic. And I just appreciate recording with you. So happy to be back.
Yeah.
That was your one nice thing that I say for the entire year. So I already hit my quota, and it's not even February.
Wow. I'll remember that when it's your birthday.
Oh.
Anyway, which is really soon.
It is soon. Oh, God,
anyway, yeah, no, I agree with what Amber is saying. I did miss recording. But also, like, I feel like we say all the time, like, these are conversations that we have with each other, like, in private. Yes. And with other people in our lives as well. So yeah, it's not like we're never having these conversations ever. I would also like to congratulate us on 2 years of this podcast.
Yay! We gotta get some like little fake cheering applause or something.
Yeah. I'll insert that. And like, I'm glad that we're like still doing this. Like, yeah, like we could have like quit a long time ago for sure, but I'm glad that we're still doing this. I'm glad that like people are still listening. We got like twice as many listens we did like our first year. I didn't say that right. We got twice as many listens this past year that we did than what we got in our first year, which is always great. Like, it means that we're growing and stuff like that. So that's super helpful.
Ooh, maybe we should reintroduce ourselves.
Y'all know who we are.
No, you know what I mean? Like, okay, but you just
I don't think we've ever really
these...
like...
Okay, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, like, I don't think we've ever like really introduced ourselves. I'm using air quotes.
I know. We try not to give too many personal details because I don't want to be doxxed, obviously. But yeah, I meant like
also like.
Go ahead.
We say who we are in the beginning and the end of the episode anyway.
Oh my god. Okay. What I was trying to say before she tried to shut me down was all I was going to say was we should, for any new listeners, I will just say Celeste and I are both in the engineering industry. We're both Black women. We're, I guess you could say like Black women in tech or Black women in STEM or something like that. So, being young Black professional women is, we tend to talk about a lot of stuff that affects us in like the workplace and our lifestyles and stuff like that. So a lot of the content that we create is based around stuff that we experience or stuff, I guess that we, come across that really resonate with us, given our backgrounds and what we do for work and stuff like that. So
yeah, and we just talk about life shit, like, in general, like based on like you Amber saying, like based on our experiences. So we've done episodes about like our hair journeys and finance and just life shit in general. Like, we've done some funny stuff, we've done some really serious stuff, and we love a good rant.
We are full of rants, that's for sure.
Yes, rants and sarcasm. So yeah. I wanted to do like a 2021 recap ish. I honestly, I don't have much to say about 2021 except that it sucked.
It was not my best year.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Like, this is like between 2021 and like 2015, I don't know which year was worse for me. Especially like the end of 2015. Like, I know for a lot of people 2016 was a pretty bad year, but 2016 wasn't like a terrible year for me, but like end of 2015 was pretty bad. And then 2021 was pretty bad. I don't know which one was worse, but they're in my top two.
Disclaimer, during 2015, 2016, we were in school and dealing with identity crises and bad roommates and, questioning what we were studying. And at least for me, I changed my major like 3 times and barely graduated on time. But yeah, that was rough for sure. But 20, so I keep thinking to compare 2020 to 2021 because I really don't know which one affected me more mentally. I gotta say, I think 2021 hit me harder than 2020. And I initially, if you'd asked me this in the summertime, I would have said, no, 2020 was way worse. Because I was definitely dealing with depression. Like, I was very, very upset through the entire fall and winter of 2020. But I've been like consistently miserable this whole year.
Same.
So, I had, I don't know. I think, I think I gotta hand it to 2021 because really, I think 2021 was just a year of a like continuous false hope. If you think about it, because 2020 started, obviously, pandemic started around March for most people, and I think initially people thought things would die off by like the summer or the fall. It didn't happen in 2020. Then we went into winter and everybody was like, oh, duh, of course it's going to keep going on because it's cold. Now everybody's immune systems are even more weak, so that kept continuing. But I think we really got fooled because we were like, oh, 2020, nothing can compare to how bad 2020 was. But 2021 was just like, bam, bam, bam. Like the insurrection for me, like January 6th of last year, that really just set the tone for me.
Set the tone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. But without, I mean, like, yeah, we can all agree 2021 was pretty rough.
Mm-hmm.
What from 2021, what's like one thing that you're gonna bring into this new year? I know it was like pretty awful, but there must be at least one thing that you could be like, well, I learned this and I'll just bring that into the new year.
Yes, I will say the one plus to 2021 was that I started focusing on myself more and taking better care of myself mentally. I think I started paying more attention to like self-care, and I was taking better care of my hair because disclaimer, I'm literally almost 30 and I've never really been one to do my own hair. I'm extremely tender-headed, which I'm sure most people are like, what are you talking about? But like extremely tender-headed to the point where if anyone else touched my hair, I was in tears. So I really was very guarded with things like that. So just, I think this last year, I really started saying like, look, I got to take control of the situation. I can't keep spending money in salons. I don't even know if I'll be able to keep going to salons because, the pandemic and everything like that. I was trying to stay safe and stuff. But anyway, so started taking better care of my hair. Started like doing my nails and stuff, and that really helped me with like my nail biting because I have like anxiety, so I tend to bite my nails. But doing my nails obviously would make me pause and say like, well, I don't want to mess up my nails, so I'm not going to bite, right? And just I think developing a better mindset with my work also was huge for me this year. Just being able to pull myself away from something that was difficult or I felt was like overwhelming and say like, it's going to be there tomorrow. Just save it for tomorrow. Like the deadline thing that a lot of people get stuck on where they're like, but he said I have to get it done by this day, whatever. All that shit is not true. Like, don't ever kill yourself over deadlines unless it's like you got to be on a plane to go on vacation or something the next day. Like, That's when you should care about deadlines. It's like, when it pertains to you personally. But if it's like someone's like, yeah, we really want you to get this done by Friday, like, fuck that. Don't break your neck trying to get stuff done to a T just because somebody, wants you to do that. You want to be able to do it right and you want to feel good about your work. If you get it done on time, that's great. But, you don't want to, you're going to burn out if you try to like meet everyone's expectations. So that was something I really had to like teach myself, but also still keep in mind that I need to be a good performer and I need to, meet expectations and exceed expectations in other avenues so that things like, a missed deadline or late work or something like that is not going to make or break my position or something. So I definitely taught myself that, especially through like the fall and early winter of 2021. And yeah, so I think to round all that up, the things that I'm definitely wanting to bring into this year is like a better work-life balance and better ways to manage my stress when it comes to work and better self-care. What about you?
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I like that. I don't know. I think something that I'm bringing into the new year is just I don't know. I was gonna say holding on to like my boundaries, and I think that was like definitely like my theme last year was like boundaries was like a huge important thing for me. And I think I learned a lot in that. And so that is definitely something that I'm bringing into the new year. Also, something else that I was thinking about was being like emotionally like vulnerable and like listening to myself. I have like a really hard time listening to my own emotions and like working through my emotions. And so like sometimes I'll get upset like super easily or get super defensive easily, and or I'll have like emotions that I don't deal with in the moment, and I just like press them down because I'm like, oh, it's like really not that big of a deal, blah blah blah, and then like I'm like lashing out like later on, and I'm like not understanding why. So that's something that like I really had to I like really tried to deal with a lot this year, and I feel like I've definitely gotten better. So I'm going to like continue that and like carry on a lot of those like lessons that I learned into the new year, because I don't know, it's like super important. And also like learning like that I shout out to TikTok, learning that I'm neurodivergent, and just like recognizing like the ways in which that affects how I like see the world and like how I behave.
Yeah.
So yeah, like sidebar, I was talking to a friend earlier today, and we were talking about like dating, or like dating in the sense that of like you're talking to people, and not like, you know, trying to be in a relationship, but you're just talking to people. And I was talking about how like I genuinely don't understand how people can like go to a club or whatever and then just go up and talk to people that you don't know, and then like go have like one night stands, or like go and be like, oh yeah, like I think this person is like someone I want to date or someone I want to get to know, even though you literally haven't talked to them, you just seen them across the club or something like that. And I genuinely don't understand that, because that makes no sense to me. How do you know that you like someone, or someone is good enough to talk to, or, you know, or to have or to take up space or time in your life just by looking at them? Like, I understand like attractiveness, right? But I don't understand how you can be attracted to someone in that way. So the thing that we were really talking about was like, yeah, like how you go to the club and you can just like, and instinctively, like there are people who just like scan the crowd.
Yeah.
When I go to the club, I'm listening to the music and dancing. Like I'm not like looking at people and being like I'm at the club for liquor and dancing, okay? Like I'm not at the club to like also look at people. Like,
no,
and my friend was
I
like,
agree, yeah.
Yeah, my friend was like, oh yeah, I go to the club and I'd be scanning the room and being like, oh, that person's attractive, that person's not attractive. And I'm like, why do you
honestly, Celeste, I think it's just a confidence thing. Like you have to be so confident to do that, right? But also I think how do I say this? I think it depends on what you're looking for, right? So maybe to you, you're like, I need to know I trust this person. I need to know I get along with this person. We have similar views and morals and whatever. But maybe to another person, they're like, I just need some entertainment for a night or two, right? Like, and that's okay. Like, if that's where they are, and maybe they're just like, you know, not really looking for anything serious, and they're okay with just having one night stands, or, you know, just talking to random people or something, because that's what they want right now. But I think it really just depends on like personal taste and what you're looking for.
But I think that's how people find like someone to be in a long-term partnership with, right? Like that's how they find their boyfriend or their girlfriend, right? Like
but also think about this
well.
Think about this though. That's old school. Like that's how a lot of people met like 30, 20, 50 years ago. They would just meet some random person out in the street or in a club or in a bar or whatever and hit it off from there, right? So us with our technology, where you could think like, well, if I go on Hinge, I can see this person's whole profile. I can see if they're vaccinated. I can see what their political views are. I can see if they have kids. I can see what they like to do in their free time. You get all that information, and that works for you because you are the type of person that needs to vet someone before you let them in. But there are plenty of other people who maybe don't need to do that. Not because they don't, they don't care, right? But they have the confidence, or they have like an ease of trust, right? Of strangers, where they can say, yeah, I'm going to meet somebody new tonight, and maybe something will happen with them. But I think it's just, that's old school. That's been a proven method for ever. but
yeah,
I think
I do
depends.
think yeah, but I do think, I don't know, this is like the sidebar of sidebars, but I do think that I do think that apps are just like a internet age version of that old school thing, right? Mm-hmm. Like, as much as you want to like swipe on apps and stuff like that and like feel like you know more about these people, mm-hmm. you kind of don't, because people do lie, right? Yeah, like,
that's true.
I saw the other day someone was saying like on Hinge, this person said that they're vaccinated, but when they were messaging them, they said that they were not vaccinated. Oh my God. And it was just like, girl. Yeah. So like, I mean, and like not everyone lies on apps and stuff like that, but I also don't like apps because they still feel super impersonal, and I feel like and also not everyone's great at talking like by messaging. Mm-hmm. And like some people, I feel like some people, like, they can be great on paper, right? Like, in these messages and stuff like that. But when you get to meet them and they get to start talking, and you're just like, oh no. Yeah. So, like, I don't know. I feel like dating is just trash in general. But, yeah.
So, what would be your ideal way? Okay, to close this out, though, what do you think is your ideal way to meet somebody?
Honestly, like, the only way I date is by like friends. Like, if we've been friends for a long time, which a long time is relative, right? More likely than not, I don't know. It doesn't mean that like I'm gonna develop feelings for you or anything because you're my friend, but that's like 90% of the way that I start dating someone. We were friends, or we had known each other for a really long time, and then we like, I don't know. Well, usually they say that they like me, and then I'm like I get it. But yeah, I don't know. I don't.
So you wait for people to come to you.
See, that's how it used to work. My obstacle is that I haven't dated like as an adult, so I don't know really how I'm gonna feel. And right now, like obviously, like, I don't know because I'm not dating, so I'm not 100% sure like how it's gonna go, but I recognize that like I still know that like I have to like know this person,
yes, yeah,
on a personal level before I even like feel like I can have feelings for them, because like the people that I've had crushes on, that's how it went, right? Like I had, like, we were friends and like we had talked and blah 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 whatever, and like I got to know them, and then I was like, oh yeah, like I like this person based on their personality rather than what they look like or whatever, because that's not something I was looking at like when I first met them.
But at the same time though, isn't that similar to what people do when, you know, for example, we'll take Tinder for an example. Or no, let's take Hinge, because I feel like the temperament there is a little bit more serious, right? If you swipe on someone on Hinge, you look at their profile, maybe you don't, you just look at their pictures, you swipe, y'all match. Isn't that the same as someone saying, hey, let's go for coffee? Like, they barely have a conversation, right? It's just like, hi, how are you? Nice to meet you, whatever. Would you like to go to coffee? Get coffee, I'm free this day and this day, right? Wouldn't that be the same thing? Because you're meeting that person without much, like, preconceived notions. And the point of you getting coffee is so that you're not distracted by other stuff. You're focusing on truly, like, getting to know each other and chatting and getting, you know, the vibe, right? So wouldn't it be like a similar thing?
Yeah, I guess. But my thing is that this is why I'm not on apps, because like I hate swiping. Like, I don't know, like I can't get the vibe. Like, I feel like, and I think this is the point of apps, right? Like, you're basing people off of if you're physically attracted to them in those like 60 seconds or probably less than that you see them. And I mean, and you know, you scroll through their profile and you know, you're like, oh, this is something that I like. Okay, cool. But it doesn't make me feel good doing that. And I don't know, maybe I probably just need to get off my high horse about it.
No, you don't have to.
But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I don't think that I'm better than apps or anything like that. I think I just need to figure out like how to be better at being on apps. I don't know.
Yeah, but I will say, disclaimer, I met my partner of about 4 years. We met on Tinder. And I hated the apps too. I tried not to use them. I would make an account or like, you know, reactivate my account, use it for a week, meet a couple people, and then be like, ugh, and then delete it or whatever. But, you know, I think it really, you know, everybody says like, oh, it'll happen when you least expect it, blah, 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 whatever, right? I remember when I met him, the day that I was gonna delete the app because I was frustrated again because I had gone on a few dates and nothing happened, or you know, I got ghosted or whatever, and I was frustrated. I was like, I'd had it for like a few weeks, and I was like, I'm gonna just, you know, go through my chat, see my matches or whatever from the night before, and if nothing comes of this, I'm just gonna delete it, right? And we had matched the night before, and he had messaged me, and we started talking from there, and I literally never had to use it again because we went on dates and obviously got together, but it was, I mean, like, I was like super opposed to them too, but I felt like I needed to, what do you call it? Like, get on everyone's level, because everyone else I knew was dating through the apps. Nobody was meeting people organically. Like you're saying, you know, people get scoped out in the club still, which is fine, but like, that's not really how people are meeting for like long-term serious relationships. So I felt like I needed to get on the same level. So that's really the only reason why I used it, because I hated it too. I hate the swiping. I hate the fact that somebody can look through your whole profile and be like, ew, and then just literally just push you aside, right? I just hated that feeling, but I don't know. I guess I felt like I had to get with the times a little bit on it, so.
Yeah, no, that totally makes sense. I mean, you're right. Like, everyone's on the apps nowadays. Yeah, I don't know when. I also think because I live in a smaller city, it's harder to be on apps because like you like cycle through the same people.
Yeah.
So
like,
if you're
like a class with you some way? Sorry.
Yeah. Like, I've seen like classmates, and like when we were in college, I had seen like classmates and stuff like on the apps. So like, yeah, I think that has a lot to do with it as well. I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see a year from now if I feel the same way. Probably. But yeah. Okay,
that was a good 15-minute detour. I hope our listeners were still interested. But no, I don't know. That's actually something we hadn't really talked about yet. So, you know.
Yeah, I would like to talk about dating, but I feel like I'm not qualified because I have not dated in my adult years. So I feel like I don't have much to say on how to date or like what to do or anything like that because I genuinely have no experience. So, and also, like, as you've, like, just heard, like, I'm very mystified about how people date because it doesn't make any sense to me most of the time. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I think that's a lot of the reason why, like, I personally haven't, like, brought it up to, like, talk about.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, yeah.
So, to recap, what are you bringing into the new year?
I am bringing in boundaries and emotional health and wellness.
There we go. Okay, perfect.
Great. Do you have a theme this year? So, like, my theme this year, dang it, it's like all the way over there on my computer. So my theme this year is discipline. I talk about Kimberly Foster from For Harriet all the time because I love her to death. And she's like the OG. Every other like black person or black woman that I know who like thinks and holds a lot of the same values that I do and loves the like thesis essay commentary on YouTube and stuff like that, like they all love her and I'm like, this is my tribe. Anyway, yeah, her theme this year is discipline as well. And someone else that I love on the internet, another black woman, theme is also discipline this year. And I was like, oh my God, that like totally makes sense. And it was something that I had been thinking about. And that discipline isn't or doesn't always have to be a bad thing, and like reframing the way I think about discipline. I feel like last year and in 2020, because of the pandemic, it's been hard to be super disciplined about anything when it feels like everything is just going to shit.
Yeah.
And so, like, I've given myself a lot of leeway, especially, like, last year with, like, a lot of things that were going on, stuff like that, and just not having the motivation to do anything in general. But discipline doesn't have to be a negative thing. Discipline doesn't have to be something that you do because something negative happened, right? Like, that's how we associate discipline. And truly, discipline can just be like guidelines that you give yourself so that your future self is set up for success.
Yeah, agree.
So, and discipline comes in like different forms, right? Like, discipline can be about moving your body, or you know, the things that you eat, or the goals that you want to accomplish professionally or personally, right?
Routines, for sure.
Yeah. So, and it doesn't mean, but I want to make sure that discipline is a positive and not it's proactive and not reactionary. And so I think for me, it'll be like very interesting to see like how I react to a lot of that stuff and like kind of like where the year goes with this theme. So far, it's been okay. Like, I think something that I like carried into this new year is trying not to punish myself about how I eat food or like what food I do eat.
Yeah.
and that's a part of like, you know, unlearning like fat phobia and stuff like that, but and like listening to dietitians who like know their shit, right? And listening to science, because some people don't like to do that anyway. So like I'm a picky eater. Like
she is so picky.
like I like to eat certain things. I don't like to eat certain things. Like, and I don't like to cook. I like quick, easy stuff. Because honestly, by the time I remember that I need food, I needed it like 20 minutes ago. So I have to like, yeah. So I have to eat like quick stuff or things that don't take me like super long to prepare. So, and something like that, and but then I was also like, I want to intake more like fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and fresh fruit and vegetables, like they go bad so quickly. It's a waste of money, to be totally honest, and not everyone has it like that. I mean, I may not be one paycheck away from homelessness, but if I get a big fat medical bill, I'm gonna be homeless. So I gotta like make sure that I'm doing the things that are within my means. And so I've been eating and buying a lot of like frozen vegetables, like stuff that like I love the little steamer bag things. I know like plastic and all that stuff, but I don't give a fuck. You pop it in the microwave for like 6-7 minutes. And then, you know, you let it cool down a little bit, throw a little salt, pepper, a little adobo, a little,
what kind of vegetables are you cooking for 7 minutes in the microwave?
It's just vegetables, like kernel corn, like broccoli.
Oh, I put mine in there for like 4 minutes. That's why I was like, wait, what?
Oh, on the back it says like 5 to 7 minutes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends on your microwave and all that stuff.
That's fair. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like if it's hot, it's fine. Like,
no, that's good though. The frozen stuff is good. I mean, frozen fruit is great too.
Yeah.
The good thing about that stuff is when it's produced in mass like that, for them to freeze it, they flash freeze it, so all the nutrients and everything stays pretty well preserved. So
yeah, sometimes it's more nutrient. Yeah, sometimes it's more nutrient than the fresh stuff. Yeah. Yeah. So I know there's like a lot of shame around that, but as someone,
that's like some capitalist shit though. That's for people to shame you because you prefer frozen or canned fruits and vegetables over fresh is ridiculous, because that's like saying like, oh, you can't afford or you don't have the time to deal with fresh fruit and vegetables. Duh.
Yeah. I mean, but that's capitalism, right? Like, time is luxury.
Like, I have a fruit bowl on my counter. It's full of onions. I don't fucking use that for anything other than onions and maybe like a bag of apples, right?
Yeah. Mine is empty. Like, I will buy potatoes and the potatoes will sit there and nearly sprout before I use it.
Yeah.
Because I just don't like... I don't have it. I don't have it. I have to be... If I'm in a partnership, they have to know how to cook, because you cannot rely on me to cook. It's either you have enough money for us to, like, go out all the time or have a professional chef or something, or you know how to cook. Because if you rely on me to cook, we're both going to starve.
Oh my gosh. I get tired of eating takeout, though. I'll go through, like, phases where I'll, like, we'll get takeout for like 3 or 4 days in a row, and by like the 3rd or 4th day we're just like, oh my god, fuck this. It's just you just feel like crap, I guess. But
that's fair. But discipline is my theme this year.
Okay, so I was thinking about mine. I think my theme this year, and I know somebody's gonna hear this and laugh, but I've been trying to think of a different way to reword it while still saying the quote that I want to say, and it still sounds stupid anyway. I think
do it,
but
go.
My theme for this year is taking care of number one, and the reason why I say that is because it's actually something my mom always says. She, you know, if I call her or talk to her and it's clear that I'm like not doing what I need to be doing, or I'm feeling kind of down, or I'm upset about something or angry about something, she always says like, she basically just says, like, you have to take care of number one first. And the number one person is yourself. Because if you're not healthy, if you're not happy, if you're not thriving the way that you want to thrive, everything else is affected around you. So to me, taking care of number one, it looks like being a little more selfish, being more self-centered in a way that doesn't sound jacked up, but really, like, like I was saying earlier, like the self-care stuff for me has been huge. Even just, being bored on a Saturday, be like, I'm going to do my nails, or I'm going to redo my hair, or, I'm going to soak my feet or whatever. Like that has really helped me, because I never really did that type of stuff. I never did that like extra stuff. So that's really been helpful. And then also like getting back into my hobbies and being okay with focusing on myself and not being like, oh, I should be doing something else because, whatever, it's with someone else or it's for someone else or whatever. Like I can be okay doing my thing. And then also on top of that, I need to be better at being independent again, because like at this point, my partner and I are on 2 different schedules. And while we still have, a couple hours a day to spend with each other, for the most part, we're either prepping for the next day when we do come across each other, or he's on his way to work, or I'm finishing up work, or whatever. Like, it's just, what I'm saying is, like, through the last couple years that we've had these schedules that have kind of like separated us through the day, like I get like really upset because I like having him around. I like talking to him. I like spending time with him. So I need to spend time retraining myself on being independent. So if I want to go out thrifting and, just kill some time because he's doing something else or he's at work or something, like I need to be okay with doing that and not be like, oh, I wish my partner was here. Like, I don't want to think like that anymore, because I think it's just counterproductive, and you're selling yourself short and you're discrediting your own creativity. So, that type of stuff is what I'm focusing on. I definitely want to be more active. I want to be, we're moving now for like the 30th time, it feels like, but, where we're moving is really ideal for us. We really enjoy the neighborhood we're moving to. I feel safe as a woman, like walking at night if I'm, running an errand and it's late, or if I just want to go for a walk in the evening or something. I feel very safe there. And that's like the one thing that's really, I feel like, has been holding me back from being more active in this place where we currently live, because we live like pretty much in downtown, and the temperament of this neighborhood is just not it for me. So anyway, with us getting a change of scenery and getting back to where we really like feel the best, I think that's just going to really help me in this journey to take better care of myself and prioritize myself, because I feel like it's been a long time since I tuned into that. And I remember the times where I felt tuned into that stuff and I was super, super productive. I had a great routine. I was in great shape. I was, socially active, and just I felt like a better person. So that's really what I'm going to be focusing on this year.
I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to laugh because it sounds like, taking care of number one, taking care of my pee or something.
Oh.
Because, it's like, oh, I got to go number one. I don't know. That's childish. Oh. Anyway, next.
Oh, no. I feel like a lot of people would agree with where you're coming from and what you're saying. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I agree. I think that some people tend to forget to like take care of themselves. Yeah. And not just self-care, but also like taking care of and, listening to like how you feel about things. Mm-hmm. and things like that. And sometimes like we lose that in the process of being an adult and growing up and stuff like that. So yeah, coming back to that is really special.
It's interesting because I was just watching, I think if it wasn't last night, it was the night before. But I was just watching an episode of Queer Eye. I'm trying to watch the latest season. And this episode was, for people who have already seen it, they might know, but this episode was about this lady who runs this, basically like an animal rescue ranch in Texas. And she created the ranch because her son has autism and he had a service dog, and she really saw like a change in his behavior and his confidence and, you know, his well-being just from having, you know, a service dog or a service animal. And so she, you know, kind of had like a light bulb where it was like, if I save these animals who have their own challenges and disabilities and things, and I pair them up with people who have their own challenges and disabilities, there's she says it's something magical that happens where, you know, a bond is created. They, you know, it's very like therapeutic for people and things like that. So anyway, it's a super successful ranch. She has like a bunch of animals that she takes care of with her family, her husband and her kids. But she wasn't spending any time on herself at all, to the point where I think Jonathan asked what her morning routine was, and she was like, I wake up, I pee, and I go out and take care of the animals. And I was like, damn, like, that was just, like, you can't even spend, like, 10 minutes for yourself to, like, you know, eat breakfast or, like, have a cup of coffee or something like that, or, like, just sit and, like, wake up, right? Like, so, anyway, knowing that she's, like, super, like, stretched thin and high-strung and stuff, watching her, like, transform throughout the episode was crazy, because when they first met her and she was telling them about her routines and everything that was going on, this lady was crying every single scene, like literally sobbing and crying like constantly. And I'm just like, this lady was wound so freaking tight, all because she felt like she couldn't ever take a break. And so they had to teach her, like, you have to like let stuff go so that you can take care of yourself or else, basically. And so, you know, I guess just keeping that sort of thing in mind, where it's like I said, like, if you can't take care of yourself, nothing else you do is going to feel right. So I feel, I don't know, I just feel like felt really in tune with that episode, because it really, you know, I think a lot of people in similar situations where they feel like, you know, they don't have enough help, they don't have enough hours in the day, that sort of thing, like they can really resonate with that. And like, they really just need to like try their best to find ways to take care of themselves first, even if it's something like really like just taking an extra 10-15 minutes out of your day to do something for yourself that you haven't done before. Any sort of change, like minor change, has a big effect on your personal health and well-being. So yeah, I don't know, I just thought about that while I was thinking of my theme. So
yeah, no, I like that. That sounds good. What are your what are your intentions for the new year? So, you know, I don't like to say goals or resolutions, because intentions means that it's stuff that you're building upon for your life, versus like goals or resolutions. Like, to me, I don't know, resolution sounds like you're trying to change something about yourself or fix something, wherein I don't believe that people need fixing. I think they're just things that you want to, I don't know, just like you want to move differently, or you want to, I don't know, I don't want to say change, but like just kind of go about something like a little bit differently. I think people in the new year get caught up too much in like this, oh, I have to be like a different version of myself every fucking year because I'm not good enough, when you are good enough. Like, maybe you're not like doing things, you know, the best that you can, but you're doing the best with what you got. And so I don't know if that made any sense, but yeah.
No, that makes sense.
What are your What are your intentions for the year? I guess I'll go. Did I go first last time?
Yeah, I think you did.
Okay, you go first.
I think I just have a couple, really. And this... Well, one is, I think, more obvious. One is definitely being more active. That's definitely an intention of mine. I want to be more active. I want to be able to get out more and feel comfortable moving around and, be comfortable, like, trying out new styles and outfits and stuff like that. I think that's a different intention. But really, I think being more active, striving for better, like, self-confidence. And then the third one is, I really hope this is the last time I have to move into an apartment that I rent. I want my next move to be into something that I've purchased, whether it's a condo or a house or something, or a fucking RV. I don't really care. But I really just feel like I'm just tired of moving. I was thinking about it. I think I've moved like probably like 20 times since I was a kid. I don't even know. It's ridiculous. But, even just in Chicago, I've lived in like 5 different locations. I think this will be the 6th. I'm just over it. Like, I'm done being a renter. I'm done throwing money away. I need to build equity. I need an asset, right? Like a tangible asset. Luckily, I've paying my car off in a couple months, so that's something I feel pretty good about. But yeah, I just want to really focus on putting money away so that we can be in a good position to purchase something and just make it our own. I mean, like, I think that's another thing that I'm trying to focus on for this next move too. I want to make sure I spend a lot of time making this next place we're in, like the apartment we're moving into. I want to make it like feel homey and feel comfortable and cozy or whatever. That's something I didn't do here in this place I'm currently in, and I've noticed a huge difference from the times where we've taken time to decorate and, buy the furniture that's useful for us and not just functional furniture or whatever, or not just aesthetic furniture or whatever, versus actually doing those things. I think there's like a huge difference in how you feel when you're at home, because I'm realizing just how much time I spend at home, and it's like, if you're not even comfortable in the space that you live in, like, how are you gonna not be distracted by trivial shit, like clutter or paint colors or whatever. So yeah, I think those are my intentions to wrap up. Like, want to be more active, want to build more self-confidence, and I want to create a better home environment, and also hopefully save up to buy property.
Yeah. First, I just want to say I live below Sasquatch, so I'm very sorry if you hear footsteps in the background.
What are you talking about?
Second of all, another sidebar, on like I too am tired of moving. And at the top of this episode, I talked about my grandmother who has lived in the same apartment for like 30 plus years. And that's what I want. And if landlords and investment properties weren't so fucking greedy, people would stay in their apartments gleefully paying rent for 10, 20 years.
I don't
and never buy a property or anything like that.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, I don't think we mentioned that on the podcast. I think we were talking like right before we started recording about that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Did we? Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
We were having another conversation. My bad.
But we were ranting like we always do. And she was talking about New York.
Yeah, you're very right. Correct. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, my grandmother has lived in the same apartment for 30 plus years. And like, obviously she has no intentions of like moving really unless she absolutely has to. And that's what I want. I would gleefully give an investment property or a landlord my money for the next 10, 20 years. But y'all constantly want to jack up the prices 8% to 10% every fucking year. And y'all got me fucked up. Why are you charging more money if people's living wages have not changed in like since like the 60s or 70s? Like y'all are absolutely out of your goddamn motherfucking mind. Anyway, also the other sidebar is that in November, I put my Christmas tree up. I have a 7.5-foot Christmas tree because I stole it from my parents' house. I didn't really steal it. My mom gave it to me, and my dad was very upset that she gave it to me, but whatever. The Christmas tree we've had for like over 10 years, but it doesn't fit in the house because they have 6-foot ceilings. And I have like 10-foot ceilings. So it just made sense that I would take it. And I wanted a taller Christmas tree because 6-foot Christmas trees are actually kind of short. Anyway, I digress. So my apartment is like less than 600 square feet, and a 7.5-foot Christmas tree is actually kind of big. Yeah. So, I needed to create space. And so I had to rearrange my living room, and I was like, which honestly, it's kind of one of my favorite things to do, low-key. It's just really annoying, and it's hot and sweaty because you got to move all your furniture. Yeah. And I have a rabbit. She has a pen. It's big. I built it. It's really annoying. And then you gotta like sweep all the stuff and move the rug and yeah. So, but I planned it out. I was like thinking about it and trying to figure out like the best way and like, then, you got your whole feng shui thing, which feng shui is great. I think if you don't know what feng shui is or you don't really know much about feng shui, you should like look it up. And, I think it's a really great way to implement something really good to implement into your home, to like know how to like where to put furniture. Because now that I have rearranged my living room, I feel so much more comfortable in my space. Yeah. And like, I'm a maximalist kind of girl. There is clutter everywhere. Shout out to having ADHD, but like it's super cozy, super fun. I also have like a ton of plants, so that also helps. And it's just a cozy, good time vibe. And like the way that like my living room is now, it makes me want to actually like be in my living room and lay on the couch and like have a grand old time. Like, so yeah, I agree that like having a space that feels comfortable and is, designed in a specific way that is comfortable to like the eye and your mind and your peace, like, is super helpful. Like, exactly. That's why I'm a homebody. And that's why I don't want to go outside. Like, I understand COVID and all that, but my home is so comfortable.
Yeah, like, if you create a sanctuary, then you don't really need to go out to entertain yourself. You can have people come to you or whatever, right?
Exactly. Yeah, like, and especially if you work from home, it's really important to create that. Like, I don't have a 2-bedroom or an extra little space to have like my like laptop, like my desk and stuff. I have a pretty big desk. Someone told me to get rid of it one time, and I was like, no, because I paid $25 for it, and that thing is hefty. But I love my desk, and like, but I need that space, right? And it's big, and I had to like figure out a way how to utilize it and all that stuff. But like, yeah, I definitely agree. Like, I definitely saw a difference when I rearranged my space back in November. I mean, for the Christmas tree. Now the tree is down, sad face. But still, like, I still really like the space, and I'm like, wow, like, it just feels good. So yeah, no, I totally understand. Like, and even now I'm like, there are like some pieces that I want to buy, but I'm like, I'm finna move in like 6 months. Like, should I be buying more furniture? Yeah. But it's more like storage furniture. But yeah, I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. In a similar vein to feng shui that Celeste was talking about, which, by the way, is not spelled the way you would think. I think it's spelled Fengshi. Let me look that up. Hold on. Yeah, Shui. So in a similar vein to feng shui, there's this idea of something called hygge, which is don't quote me. I think it's Danish.
It before.
Yeah. I think it's Danish. Yes. So, or Danish and Norwegian. I didn't know that. But anyway, it's Hygge, and it's pronounced hygge. But the idea of that is making your space cozy, and not in just the way where you think like, oh, I want to have like
way.
Yeah, not in like the way where it's like everything is uniform and everything looks the same and whatever, but or I have a bunch of soft pillows and everything that's really comfortable, but also like lighting is important. So using like warm toned lightings, so in the evenings you can properly wind down, your body relaxes with the time of the day. Different like things like plants are super important. Things like the color choices that you use, like actually using colors that are either neutral or like if you want pops of color, like use your favorite colors, like those sort of things I think are like really important. And I've noticed when I try to design or like decorate to that with those things in mind, it makes like the craziest difference. Like you just feel more energy from your space. It's not cold, it's not uninviting, it's not disjointed. Like you feel like things are cohesive, you feel confident and proud of your space. And I think it really does make a difference. So it's like when you see those screenshots or videos of people like sitting and it's snowing outside, they've got a cup of tea and they're sitting in like a bunch of nice blankets and the lighting is really nice and warm and stuff. That's hygge. But that's something you want to try to instill like all around your house, not just in like your little reading nook or something. So Anyway, tangent number 8. I don't even know if you answered our prompt.
No, I don't know. I didn't. I was going on okay. What are my intentions this year? I feel like usually my intentions tend to be the same, like being the best version of myself always, and like you talked about, like movement. I know last year I did some movement, and then I got super depressed, so that didn't happen anymore. But we're gonna always keep trying that, and definitely like not feel like I kind of talked about before, not feeling bad about like the way that I eat, and just being like more intentional about like eating fruits and vegetables and stuff like that, and stuff like that. What else? Moving and not chickening out on moving, because like
actually like moving where you live.
Like moving out of like the state that I currently reside in. And I don't know what else. I have some like kind of like professional goals. Like I'm trying to get some licenses and stuff like that I keep saying that I'm going to do. And I was like, okay, Celeste, you got to buckle down and actually do it. So those are some like actual like goals that I have, but I don't know. I feel like because of the pandemic and because everything is so unknown, I'm trying to like give myself grace with like intentions and stuff like that. That doesn't mean that like there aren't things that I want to do, and like career goals or professional goals or personal goals or anything that I don't have. I think right now with the pandemic and things being so unknown for me, it's kind of hard for me to have any new intentions throughout this pandemic. Like, and yeah, maybe another one that I'm thinking about, another one is like keeping with my theme of last year with like my boundaries. At the end of last year, I was thinking that I would push one of my boundaries a little bit, and this year happened, and I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I was like, you know what, I'm actually not gonna do it because I'm still not like 100% comfortable like pushing it quite yet, and I worry that like boundaries are there for a reason, and I worry that pushing one of my boundaries too soon is not going to help. It's going to maybe set me back. I don't think it'll actually set me back, but I don't want it to set me back. So, and I, like you said, I gotta look out for number one. So, yeah, that's true. So yeah. So that's probably not the best answer for like what my intentions are for this year, but I think, yes, because of the pandemic, like year to year, I feel like my intentions are going to be fairly similar because,
yeah,
like it's really hard to feel super motivated through a pandemic, especially when there are systems in place that like tell us time and time again that they do not give a fuck about us. So yeah, I think, yeah, and not to be like super depressing or anything, but like, yeah, it's definitely really, really hard, and yeah, it's just real hard. Yeah, but also brings me to my last question. I was listening to last year's episode back on this, and man, me and my Gemini third eye always be knowing. Okay. So we'll talk about some 2022 predictions, what we think is gonna happen this year.
No.
Sorry, mind my foot.
Are you mean like for the world, or
it could be, it can be anything. It can be for like the world, or for you personally, or
yeah, I got a few.
Yeah. What are your few?
So it's interesting. I know I bring up TikTok constantly, but I really do spend a lot of time on TikTok. It's interesting because when I think of predictions for the year, the main thing I think about is who's gonna die. And I know that's super morbid, but there's this one girl I follow, and she has been right about a few things so far, and it's not even February. But anyway, technically, she said Betty White was going to pass early this year, but, you know, obviously we know she died literally the day before the new year. Rest in peace to her. Love her. But, you know, I guess initially I was just thinking of like, oh, people are going to die, whatever. But now what I'm thinking about is more like world events. And I feel like with COVID, I'd like to say this is going to be the last tough year for COVID before things finally start to dwindle down, and hopefully in 2023, which sounds crazy to say now, but hopefully in 2023, COVID becomes like a flu sort of thing where it's like, oh, you know, you get a flu shot and for the most part you're protected for the year or however long the vaccine is, or you know. So I think through the rest of the winter, spring, and summer, COVID is going to be still very prevalent, but I'm hoping by like the fall, things will be to like a super manageable level. People won't be getting infected as much, or affected over and over again, or whatever. The death rate will reduce, not because of people, you know, not because of unvaccinated people, which is a whole other thing, but really I think just because hopefully the variants that get introduced are less and less harmful, if that makes sense. That's my hope. And additionally, I think, I don't know, I really feel like I thought this was going to happen in 2021, and with like the insurrection, I think that made me think that something crazy was going to happen again, like throughout the year. But I really feel like I really feel like we're in a pressure cooker right now. And I think the midterm elections are going to set some fucking crazy thing off, because I don't know if you know this, but just last night the Senate tried to, well, the Democrats in the Senate tried to push forward a new voting rights legislation, and it got turned down. And then they also tried to push some new regulations to the filibuster method that Republicans tend to overuse, in my opinion, and they abuse. And that also got turned down. So with the voting rights legislation, it was supposed to make things a lot easier for people to vote. It was supposed to open more polling places in neighborhoods where it's harder to get out of that neighborhood. It was supposed to make election day, it was supposed to make election day a federal holiday, which obviously would give more people the opportunity to take time off of work and go and vote, and they're not going to be forced to run and hope that they make it in line by 6:59 when the polls close at 7 or something. So that didn't happen. I'm hoping that they keep fighting with that, but really time is running out. And so anyway, with that being said, I feel like there's going to be a lot of tension on the midterm elections. This is typically when a lot of senators and representatives are up for re-election, or challengers are introduced. And I feel like it's kind of scary, but I feel like a political shift is about to happen. I don't know. I feel like nervous even just talking about it, because it just seems so like unnatural. But I really do think those crazy QAnon people and crazy Trumpers and anti-maskers and COVID deniers, all those people are going to group up and just wreak havoc on midterm elections. I think it's just going to be absolute chaos. And yeah, I think that's going to be one of the main events for this year. So yeah, please get out and vote if you can, and let's hope that we get some good results from it. I don't know how else to put that without it sounding super depressing.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I am probably a little bit more radical. I agree. I think that was part of my 2022 predictions, is that this year is definitely going to be a turning point. Good for some, in some people's minds, bad in other people's minds. I agree. I think that the Democrats are out of time. And I mean, if Virginia is any indication of what's going to happen in the midterms, the Democrats are screwed.
Oh, yeah.
I honestly, at this point in time, I don't think the Democrats are going to keep their seats or win anything new unless you're like ultra progressive, because people are tired of the Democrats. Yes. People are not going to go out and vote. I personally, unfortunately, don't believe in voting anymore. I used to definitely be someone who was like super into voting and, telling people to go vote and stuff like that. But based on like how the system is set up, and based on how the Democrats aren't really any better than the Republicans, they just pander a lot more to poor people and to Black and brown people for their votes. And they like truly, honestly aren't doing anything that benefits us.
Yeah.
And I think people don't understand how much like we don't care about Biden. We just didn't want Trump.
That's right. And that's why I think this party shift is going to happen, because people are tired of moderate, lazy Democrats.
Yeah. And then people are just not going to go
vote. Right. Yeah. All these people who are sitting right in the middle. Well, I would say Senator Manchin, but we know he's a different breed of asshole. But all of these, you know, Democratic senators that you don't hear them doing anything. They're not speaking out. They're not AOC. They're not Cory Booker. I can't. So, yeah, I think it's going to be a party shift. I think people, like younger people, are going to vote way, way more progressive than they have in the past. And if they are voting, right, I think there's going to be a lot of people who feel like you, who feel like voting is not, it's not that it's not important, but it's just like, what else can we do, right? Especially now where it's like we can't even get them to agree to creating more polling places and, you know, making Election Day a federal holiday. What kind of sense does it make to keep it like that? And, you know,
because I think they don't want people who would actually vote Democratic to vote. That's literally the whole point. It's to restrict rights.
Mitch McConnell got caught in some quote. I wish I could quote it, but I'm really not trying to like
get too political.
I really don't want to do that, but it's so easy to now, which is why I think, you know, people are frustrated. They're fed up. This student loan cancellation thing, Biden has dropped the ball on that. You know,
he was never gonna.
I know him pushing it back till May is great. It does plenty of people a favor. It helps a lot of people out still, but he's had so many opportunities to at least reduce it for people overall. That I think that would have, you know, set him a lot better with people our age and younger, but he hasn't. His administration has not. You know, I just heard today that he is basically saying that Russia is going to invade Ukraine one way or another. It's just a matter of, you know, how heavy they're going to go in. So if they're going to go in through Crimea, which I think is, you know, just like very small, narrow region in the south of Ukraine, if they go in through Crimea, it's not going to be as big a thing as them going in from, you know, the Western Front. But, you know, it's like, what is he doing? That's really what I got to say. But like you said, we didn't really want him. We just didn't want Trump. So this is what we got. And now everybody's seeing like shit's falling apart, of course. And Republicans will blame it on us, of course. But anyway, I don't want to get too political. I hope people listening, our listeners are, you know, kind of in agreement, at least on a majority of things. I feel like if we have like, well, I'll say this. If we have anti-vax, Trump-supporting listeners, like, you're wasting your time, so.
First of all, how did you even find us?
Why?
Yeah.
If you got this far, you're probably just trying to get some intel on Black culture or something, but.
Yeah, which we have none.
So, anyway, that's my political rant. I'll stop it there, but.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I think... I truly think, though, a lot of 2022 is going to be that, just because midterms are coming up, and it's what we've all been kind of like waiting on in kind of that sense, because it'll be like the turning point of like whatever the hell is to come in the future. I will say, like, COVID predictions, to be totally honest, I don't think this pandemic is going to end for another 2 to 3 years. And I say that because I think COVID is going to be around forever. Like,
same.
I just don't think it's going to become an endemic like the flu is until the next 2 to 3 years. That's based on some of the smart scientist peoples. They've been saying, a lot of them have been saying that. Also because, like, the majority of the world is not vaccinated. And we have a lot of access to each other. You know, planes, boats, all that stuff. So...
Oh, yeah.
So, like, even though, like, Omicron was found in Europe, like, and then, you know, South Africa was like, hey, this is a thing. You know, like... it spread so fast. Like, and the next variant that's going to ravage us is somewhere in the world. And it won't pop up until it's too late. And, you know, so I think it's going to be a while. It's probably going to be another 2-3 years until
holy crap,
this pandemic actually, like, subsides some. And then, you know, and also, like, with all the, like, CDC stuff and the regulations and all that stuff, like, people are going to be more exposed to COVID now more than ever. And it's just gonna be a mess. But that's not even like the, like, yeah, people getting COVID, cool. The people that get we've talked about this before, the people that get COVID, a good majority of them, I think it's like 50 or 60% right now, have long COVID. Within like the first I think like few months, they're noticing they have long COVID, and it's been lasting like at least a year. And then there are also people who caught COVID, and then a year later they're getting long COVID symptoms, right? Yeah. And so we don't even know about that. Then there are people who are asymptomatic which I potentially could be, because I don't even know if I've had COVID. But I haven't felt sick in the past like 2 years. Like, I haven't had any symptoms or anything. So it is very possible that I have gotten COVID. I was asymptomatic and all that good stuff. And I could have long COVID symptoms in the future. And not even attribute them to long COVID because I didn't feel the symptoms or anything. Yeah. So long COVID is going to be, we talk about Imani, aka Crunches and Spice, all the time. We love her, but she talks a lot about COVID being a disabling event, like a huge like millions of people are disabled, like, and it's extremely bad. And going on disability, the healthcare in this country is super bad. So then people are thinking about, hey, we should jump ship. We should leave this country. If you're disabled, you cannot leave the United States. Countries do not take disabled people unless you're partnered and your partner makes enough money and can take care of you. So, because, I mean, if you can't work in a capitalistic society, you're no good.
Yeah, it's hard to get a visa to move abroad, like most EU countries and the UK, if you don't have any skills. Like, I think they call them, what do they call it? Whatever, it doesn't matter. But, like, they have a skills list of all these different industries that they're looking for working professionals in. And if you're not working because you're disabled, how are you going to appeal to them? Right?
Yeah. How are they going to get their return on investment?
Right. You could go to study or something like that. But again, you know, if you're not able to work because you're disabled, you're kind of stuck after that too. So yeah. That's really, really depressing.
Yeah, it is. It's super depressing to think about. I think it's something that we do need to think about. Yeah, I've been hearing people more and more talk about when is the revolution coming? Look, when y'all are tired enough, I'm down. I'm waiting on y'all. I work from home. When y'all are ready, I'm ready. Okay? Like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to do whatever y'all need me to do. Just let me know. I mean, well, minus like a couple things. We can talk about that later. But yeah, whenever y'all ready to go, I'm ready to go. I will support y'all.
Girl, you're gonna end up on a watch list talking all vague like that.
I'm just saying.
I'm joking. No. It's, I mean, it sucks, but it really is reality. And I think, you know, it's interesting. I think the other day I was watching something, and someone was like, "Oh, I found these articles from March of 2020 when COVID first hit the U.S. and they were talking about, how long will this last, or how long will we have to quarantine? Blah blah blah." Every single article said, "Oh, it'll be over by the end of the year, a year tops, maybe next, spring 2021." But look, it's almost spring 2022.
Yeah,
and it's like we're spinning our wheels. Like, more people are getting sick, more people are dying, not enough progress is being made. Vaccines were incredible. I'm so grateful for them again. I'm super grateful. But it's not enough, especially when half the US population alone doesn't give a shit about a vaccine. Or they pretend like they don't give a shit. Candace Owens, I feel like she is vaccinated and she just doesn't want to tell her constituents.
Of course.
Anyway. Or constituents, oh my god, her groupies.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Trump got vaccinated as before it was like public.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's interesting now. In some ways, I'm starting to appreciate him more right now, only because he's starting to totally 180 on some of his viewpoints he had during his time in office. Like the vaccine stuff. He's like, if you're not getting vaccinated, like, you're being ridiculous. Is basically his new standpoint. So,
but
I think what I'm saying is, I think it's forcing a lot of people to say, like, why am I following Trump? Because he doesn't, blah, blah, blah. He's not made of what I thought he was. And, people are finally fucking breaking that stupid Trump,
but
whatever you want to call it.
Are they? Because they will excuse anything that he says.
That's fair. But I think there's a better percentage now of people who are waking the fuck up than there was before. Like, if this was the middle of 2021, not a chance. But now it's like he seems to have calmed down in general. He seems to be speaking more openly about stuff that actually fucking makes sense. And now I just heard this morning that he can't block his Capitol riot transcripts and reports and anything anymore. So
yeah,
that's all going to be public knowledge
them or something like that.
Yeah, it's going to be public knowledge soon. So I'm sure that'll be nice for all those people.
Yeah,
who are like, he didn't do anything. I'm sure that'll be nice to see all these transcripts of him saying, like, these people are crazy. I don't know what the fuck they're doing, but I don't give a shit about them,
Yeah. Also, like,
that'll be great.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Also, he's getting, like, he has bigger fish to fry, like, in New York. So, yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Y'all, I hope y'all have a great year. Like, all in all,
I hope like, all this stuff we say is not true, but
yeah, I really hope so. But like, it's looking a little bleak. Try to find some joy in something, because that's the only way you're gonna stay sane during these trying times. Oh, and fuck the term "the new normal."
Ew, I hate that.
I hated it when it came out, and I hate it now. We're still in the middle of this goddamn panini press. Stop saying that shit. Yeah. I think that's all from us. What's got you hot?
What's got you hot? I got one thing that I wanted to talk about. Earlier I was going to talk about I was thinking I'd talk about the voting rights stuff not getting passed. That was what got me hot, but we already talked about that. And I'm staying away from politics now. What's got me hot is TikTok drama once again. I know. They're like, oh, this bitch always talk about TikTok. No, seriously. For those who use TikTok, I'd say maybe daily or at least like every other day, a few times a week, you've probably already heard about this. If you haven't, I will quickly explain and I'll tell you why it's pissing me off. There's this kid on TikTok. His name is Axel. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not even going to give his last name because I don't want to give this kid any more attention than he already has. This kid, Axel, has created this massive following out of nowhere, just in the span of like a month or two, just because he's quirky, he's seemingly relatable, he's white, he's, I don't know, I guess attractive to some people or some girls or whatever. Yeah, but his whole thing is he's this young, like early 20s kid who just moved to New York, and he's trying to make it work as an actor, and he wanted to apply to the Juilliard school. And so his following started popping up. He got like over 1 million followers pretty quickly, but that was because of his content. His content that he kind of broke out with was him showing off how he lives in New York. And so currently he's living in this tiny, like, I don't even know how many square feet it would be, like maybe like 100 square feet. Like literally like a 10 by 10 room in New York. So he lives in like a glorified dorm. He pays, I think, like $1,200 a month or $1,400 a month or something in East Village, which is very, you know, insane neighborhood to live in Manhattan. And he was like, oh, this is my room and blah, blah, blah. And the reason why people liked him and gravitated towards him is because he's got this like happy-go-lucky, like super like sunny disposition type of thing going on. He's always happy. He's always smiling. He's always joking around. He has videos of him dancing on the street, and he's just so happy to be in New York, and he's all about the New York experience and blah, blah, blah. And so his content started to change a little bit, and he started talking about why he was in New York and he wanted to be an actor and whatever. So then he said he was going to have a Juilliard audition, which he had, I think, like 2 weeks ago. He was supposed to have an audition to get into the acting school at Juilliard, and he bombed the audition. And he was super open about it. He was like, yeah, I did a terrible job, blah, 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 whatever. You know, it is what it is. But again, he was still like, oh, well, you know, whatever. But you could tell he was upset. He ends up getting rejected. And these freaking crazy ass people on TikTok, they created this angry mob, and they literally brigaded the Juilliard school. They went to all their social media, all their, you know, Google reviews and Instagram and Facebook and everything. And they just started bombarding the Juilliard school with comments saying justice for Axel, because they felt like this kid was wronged in his audition, which he admitted was terrible. They felt like he deserved to get in just because they're following him and they like him or whatever. Turns out, and this is where the drama comes in, it turns out he's kind of fake. Like he's doing this for an experience. He's from this upper middle class family in Georgia, and he's not poor. So him saying he's struggling and buying, you know, cheap food off the street, literally like food off the ground that vendors are selling him, and he's finding stuff in dumpsters and whatever. Like that's all not him. He doesn't need to live like that. So he's trying to glorify poverty and make it a trendy experience and not real life for a lot of people. And that's what really bothers me, is like the fakeness of it, and the fact that he hasn't been transparent with his audience and say like, yeah, I you know, maybe he could say, you know, my parents cut me off financially, so I've had to make it work myself. This is the best I can do right now. I'm just trying to stay positive, whatever. That would be great, but he hasn't done that. Instead, he's created this narrative that he's just trying to make ends meet, and he's trying to stay happy and positive, and oh, look at me, and I'm attractive, and I'm white, and whatever. And so the interesting thing to wrap this up is, and the thing that's pissed me off is, of course, because with the Juilliard thing, he got a lot of attention on social media. All these people were reaching out to him. Charlie Puth was like, hey man, it's okay that you got rejected. Like, I didn't get into Juilliard either, and blah, blah, blah. It's okay. It doesn't mean you're not going to have a successful career. And all these people being like, let me know if you need something. I can help you, whatever. He's getting interviewed. He's got an article in the New York Times. He's got interviewed by Inside Edition. All this shit. Then this motherfucker comes back on and he says, so I didn't get into Juilliard, but I just got signed with the biggest modeling agency in the world. The rage, dude. Like, this is what it means to be privileged. You can literally be the most unextraordinary person on earth, which, by the way, he said he wanted to be an actor, but he doesn't have an acting career. No experience. Like, I don't even think he's been in a commercial, but that's, you know, another point, right? You can be the most totally unextraordinary person, but if you're conventionally attractive, if you're white, maybe if you're a man, right? You can get all kinds of shit just thrown at you. So now he's a top model, whatever. And I looked at his modeling portfolio, by the way, it's trash. Yeah, he took his portfolio pictures in his bathroom or something. It's crazy. Yeah. So, he's got all this stuff and now he's doing this modeling, and I'm sure he'll start joining people's videos. He'll get sponsored ads because he's got a huge following now. His YouTube channel is huge now. It's insane. And it's super frustrating. And a lot of Black and brown creators have spoken up on this and been like, this is wrong for so many reasons. Like, you can't even feel happy for this dude, because for every one Axel there is, every one person like him, there's 50,000 people who deserve it more who will never get that chance. So that's what's got me hot. I've been following this drama. I try to stay away from it because I'm kind of burnt out by it, but that's what's got me hot. So if you want to indulge yourself on TikTok and get into that rabbit hole, just look up Axel or search for the hashtag Axelgate, kind of like Watergate, but like Axelgate, because that's what they've coined this whole thing. So what about you? What's up with you?
Yeah, I think that as you were talking, I was thinking about how, like, a conversation I want to have on this podcast is parasocial relationships and, like, celebrity culture and influencer culture and those kinds of things. I'm not super, like, I'm still learning a lot about that kind of stuff, and, like, but that is something that I would love to talk about more, because, like, social media is super fucking interesting. Yeah, and I think a lot of those things that I just said play into Axel's story, and what is going on and what went down and all that stuff. What's got me hot? Oh, so recently, the past, like, 3 months, like, fall, winter, so that's more like 6 months, whatever. Anyway, something had been bothering me a lot, and because I'm, like, on this journey of, like, trying to, like, work through my emotions and, like, talk through my emotions and stuff like that, I had been, like, talking myself, like, through it and, like, trying to figure out why I was so upset and, like, why was it bothering me so much and blah blah and whatever. And, like, I felt like I kind of solved it by the end of the year and was, like, kind of, like, feeling a bit better about the situation. And then, like, this week, I had a conversation with someone, and it made me realize I have changed a lot in 2021. And more so, like, my values. And I think the pandemic, I was talking to a mentor about this earlier today, that the pandemic has like, what is the word? Like, just sped shit up that was already happening, right? Like, a lot of the crazy shit that was happening kind of, like, sped up a lot of, like, all the crazy stuff. And I think also the pandemic has definitely radicalized a lot of people, and I'm definitely one of them. My phone's on low power mode. Anyway. And yeah, it made me realize that, like, my values have changed a lot this year. And I feel like that's a lot of the reason why I was feeling certain ways about certain situations, because in the way, like, I'm a student, I'm constantly learning new things and trying to, like, dig deep into a lot of the nuances of a lot of like social stuff, right? And I listen to a lot of different people and like their opinions about like stuff and their research on stuff. And because I've been doing a lot of that, I've been doing a lot of like critical thinking about the way in which the world works and like how we live and like see things and like my points of view on things and like why people have certain points of view and things, blah blah blah, whatever. And like in doing a lot of that, you kind of had like a lot of this, like those things that you're thinking about or that you're learning about come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Like how certain things affect other things and how and what is the cycle, right? And so I've been doing a lot of that, like pretty much the entire pandemic, but a lot last year. And I didn't realize how much my values have shifted within 1 year, but also since like leaving college, right? How much I have like divested from trying to be in the corporate space, how much I've divested from trying to achieve material success. I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. There are ways in which, because, you know, I've all grown up in this, like, in this system. It is very hard to, like, break away from certain things. But yeah, it also made me realize, I think a lot of the reason why I was getting upset was because there were people who couldn't see what I was seeing. And not to be on and not to be on no like 70, like not 70s, but like not to be on no like 90s hotep shit. But like they just can't see. Their third eye's not awake. But yeah, but yeah, like it's hard to like, it's been like difficult for me to have these kinds of conversations with people who are not where I am. And not that like I don't love these people or anything like that, but I can't engage with them in these kinds of conversations the way I like really want to engage in them, because like, I mean, I'm listening to other people on the internet talk about it, but I also want to talk to like someone physically about it, and I can't because they're just not there yet. And that's fine. Like, I'm not saying that like there's anything wrong with that. I think because of the systems, we've grown up in the system and it's all that we know. So, and it's the system that is still in place, right? So you have to work within that system if you want certain things for your life. So I totally understand. But as someone who wants to forge a different path, it's hard to forge a different path when everyone else that you know is trying to stay on the same tried and true path, right? Like, and I use heavy quotes around tried and true. So yeah, I think, I mean, this also ties into like me moving out of my apartment into like a new place. I think it's been past time for me to find more friends and find my tribe of people who relate to me in that way. I think I mean, a lot of the reason why I didn't try to get new friends like after college and stuff like that is because I knew I wasn't going to stay in this city for much longer. And I didn't want to like create too many like relationships in a place where I knew I wasn't going to be for a very long time, which...
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, which I know to some people is like short-sighted or whatever, but like... I genuinely don't care. It's fine. It worked out. But yeah, I don't know. I think, and it's something I'm still like thinking about a lot. And also like, I think now that like it clicked, man, that was so crazy to me that like when it clicked, I was like, oh yeah, like I have definitely changed a lot. And like, I knew I had changed, but I don't know. Sometimes like, I was like, oh, I am definitely not the person that I used to be back then. Like there are just things that like I don't want that other people want. And not that it's a bad thing that they want those things, but I wish like more people understood why they wanted those things. Because a lot of times the things that you want, it's not because you actually want it, it's because you've been told that's what you want, or that's the only thing that you know that you want.
That's like that biggest example or easiest example I can think of with that is college.
Yeah.
You have this thing drilled in your head that you have to go to college to be successful. You have to go to college to work in a job you love or whatever, or find your interests and, you know, meet new people and stuff. And that's just not true. But so many people grow up and their parents and friends and family push that on them and nothing else, no other options, that they feel like they have to do it. And then they get to college and they're like, what the hell? I'm wasting my time. I don't want to do this. And, you know, by that time you've wasted a lot of time and energy and money just trying to do what you thought was right. Yeah. Instead of doing what you want to do.
But also for a lot of people, especially if you're not white, college is the only option. Yes. College is the only way up.
Yeah.
For a lot of people. Like, honestly, for me, if I didn't go to college, I wouldn't be where I am right now. Like, for a lot of reasons. So I think, that's like, yeah, that's the other side to it, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. That's what's got me hot, or that's what's got me like really thinking a lot recently, like this past week. Like, man, like it's so interesting how much of your mindset changes after like years. And then I think the thing was that I was talking to someone and they were saying some shit that I realized I was saying when I was their age, because they're younger than me. And I was like, wow, like that's super interesting that I don't think that way anymore. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's what got me.
Damn, you made mine sound so trivial compared to yours. I was like, I'm just mad at this random white boy in New York.
No, but like yours is real, right? Like also right, when you
think of the issue, the main issue with him, why so many people are upset. Yeah, it's serious, but you know, I think my my anger with it it's a bit unwarranted.
No, it's definitely warranted. Yeah. Well, that's the episode.
Yeah, that was a long one, but I felt like we kind of had to make it long because it's just been so long since we've gotten together and talked about this type of stuff. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was the Slight Sarcasm podcast. I am Amber.
I'm Celeste.
That is Celeste. As always, we want to thank you all for listening. We do encourage you to take a look at our social media, which will be linked in the show notes. I think we'll also probably add a few things in there, some of the other things we talked about. And you can also email us with questions or suggestions at theslightsarcasmpodcast@gmail.com. So yeah, thanks again, and we we hope you join us in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.